Hey guys, just want to introduce you real quick to a new feature on OpenDKP. It's called the bidding tool. It basically allows you to do auctions in a web application format, so you can do them live, and it helps your loot process by allowing you to pull your log files to see items that drop from bosses. And today I just kind of want to walk you through what that looks like and kind of how it plugs in and plays with the rest of the OpenDKP system. Before we get started, if you're not familiar with OpenDKP, check out our website at opendkp.com. You can get started and get familiar and up to speed with it there. So with that said, I'll walk you through the auction controls at the top. These are typically controls that only a DKP admin would see. So the average user won't see the auction control or the queued auction panel. Your regular guild member is only going to see global settings and the table down here at the bottom. If we go through the auction controls, this really helps determine how your bids in your auctions are set up. Minimum bid means somebody can't bid below 5 on an item. The minimum up bid means they have to bid by at least 5 increments. And then maximum bid would stop all bidding at 250, in which case you probably have some other criteria you want to factor in, like great attendance, to award the loot. Auction duration is in minutes. Loot channel, this is one of the really neat features. You basically can tell OpenDKP what channel you're going to link your loot in. So I'm going to say Monk's Loot here. Item quantity, if you're queuing up your items manually, you can search here for my favorite item to test with. It's a Tranquil Staff. You can select it. Say queue auction, drops the item down here. So this is kind of useful if you know a guaranteed item is going to drop, or if you just want to kind of queue things up before you actually post the auction. Queued auction, nobody else can see. It's not started yet. You can kind of manipulate it here and say, like, all right, I actually don't want to bid off the Tranquil Staff, or maybe you meant to add 2 Tranquil Staffs to bid off, so you can come back and change and make the adjustments that you need to here before you actually before you start the auction. So with that said, what I want to show you now is how it actually pulls your log file. So I'm going to sit here and choose logs, go to my character's log file. Now it's pulling in the background every few seconds to see any changes in my log file. It's only looking at the specific loot channel here, Monk's Loot. If I switch over to EverQuest real quick, you'll see that I've got an instance prepped here with Nagy in front of me. So what I'm going to do, first thing is I'm going to join that channel. I set back Monk's Loot, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so I'm in Monk's Loot. Now over here, confirm it's in Monk's Loot. Okay. So I'll go ahead, kill Nagy. Alright, so I probably should have wiped out my loot window first, but it's alright. So it looks like Nagy dropped 2 shields, cloak, which is nice, a couple of other items. So now if I link this loot into my channel, which was channel 4, and I say link all, you'll see that EverQuest does some of the work for you, copy and paste all the items in there. Now if we click back over to OpenDKP, we'll see that it's picked up the Cloak of Flames, the Crystallized Sulfur, Bleed Stopper, and Prayers of Life. So now this is where the queued auction comes into play. I don't necessarily want to bid off, this sulfur, so we'll remove that. Don't want to bid off the Prayers of Life, so we'll remove that. Which kind of brings us down to just 3 items we want to kick off. So now I can either say start all the auctions, so I can clear them all, or I can start them one individually. Start and remove will remove them from the auction. Either way you want to go about doing it. Now that I've started the auctions, they appear as tabs down here. So these are what your users would see. Now they'd come in here and say, all right, for Cloak of Flames, I'm going to select my character, say Gloom, bid for all. Like, this is just kind of another way of saying, like, are you bidding for an alt? Are you bidding for the main? It's really just for transparency purposes. You may use this, you may not use it. In OGC, we use it to just denote I'm going to pay for this item out of my main character's DKP and things like that. So you'll notice that there's a progress bar slowly ticking down. This is the time left on the auction. Excuse me. You'll also see that we've got an actual timer here to tell you exactly how much time is left. You can click back and forth between the two tabs to see where they're at. These top buttons here, only DKP admins would see these. So the average user would only see like this input box here, the send, place min bid button, and the grid below. So now let's say I actually want to place this bid. I've got two options. I can manually insert a bid here, say 5, and hit send. Alternatively, I can just say I want to place a minimum up bid, which is going to say, take this piece up here, the 5 minimum up bid, and apply it to the highest level bid that we have on the actual grid at that point. So these are my two bids. Now, since I place these bids, I can actually delete them if I wanted to. If I was a DKP admin, I also see those, and I could delete them from there as well. Every action you take here will be reflected on everybody else's screen. We're using WebSockets in the background for anybody who's interested in that. So now you'll see at the top, the progress bar says Gloom is the current winner. The current bid is 5. The time's going to tick down. If people are bidding really slow, you could like reduce the auction down to kind of get it to speed up the process. You can also control that initial start time again with auction duration. So it starts at 3 minutes. I could have started it with 1 or 2. If you want more time, you can do it that way. But the important thing to note is once you get below, I think it's 20 seconds or so, if somebody does actually place a bid, it'll automatically add time to the auction. This is essentially to make sure nobody snipes the bid or tries to bid at the very last second. So you can see as many times as I'm bidding here, it's just going to keep increasing that auction time. It looks to be about 20 seconds. So again, it's just to make sure nobody snipes. Once the auctions are over, so if I just go ahead and kind of force end both of these, you can no longer place bids. You can't actually delete them. If you try to click buttons too fast, you'll get a little throttle response because we don't want to send too many requests at the same time. But now you've got essentially two options. If you actually need more time, you want to open bids back up, just simply click extend auction. That'll start it back up. People can start bidding again. If you want to end the auction and say, all right, Gloom won this item at 20, you just simply click end auction. It'll disappear for everybody. Nobody else can bid. Nobody else can see it. It goes away. We'll do the same thing for the blade stopper. And that's ultimately the end of the bidding tool. So it just helps streamline the looting process. You don't actually have to go into loot channels in EverQuest and bid off. At least in our guild using DKP, we're still, we were doing Shroud, one item in Shroud, another item in auction, and we're always trying to move fast. We don't want to keep people in raids for 4 hours every night. So this was a way for us to streamline it. Now you might ask, all right, how else does this tie into the system? If you click over here on bidding results, you'll actually get a list of everything that was bid off, the winner, and how much they bid for. And the nice thing about this is you can just kind of check the boxes and say like, all right, I want to make sure Muncie gets charged, Gloom gets charged. You select those and you click generate loot logs. This will basically create a friendly output to plug back into your raid. So one of the things you can do here is you can take that output. If you're familiar with creating a raid, you come in here, there's bulk items, upload, copy and paste that format here, click add items, and boom, all of a sudden your loot populates here. If you need to make adjustments, you can do it here on the fly. But again, the big thing is just kind of tying everything back together in the system. Over time, I'd like to update this side here so you don't have to actually do any copy and pasting. But for right now, this was the easiest way to kind of pull the systems together. So again, that's the bidding tool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Quick shout out to the developers over at Darkpaw Games. They have been helping us make improvements. One of the first ones they did here was that feature in EverQuest you saw where we link all items. It was previously separating the items with a comma, as you can see in the chat log here. And a lot of items in EverQuest have commas in their name, so it's difficult to parse through and try to figure out like, was this an item? Was it an actual comma? And on the test server right now, they've actually switched out that comma for a vertical bar or pipe, which will actually make it 10 times easier for me to parse and reduce a lot of the code. So just a quick shout out. Thank you guys for that. That's it for this video, and hope to bring you guys more videos and some tutorials just like this in the future. Thanks.